Hey, welcome back. Today, we are going to get into a topic that is really at the heart of how so many women are rewriting the rules of business: confidence through community. Do we remember in COVID when Clubhouse came out and it was all the rage and all the buzz because it was community? We're not talking about likes. We're not just talking about followers. We're talking about like real online support systems. And man, do I miss the days of Clubhouse. I still get on there Tuesdays and Thursdays, by the way, for a cup of joy. It's amazing. But that's it. That's all I do. But we're talking about the kind of communities that cheer you on when you first launch your. We're talking about the communities that cheer you on when you launch your first offer, right? That DM you when you disappear from Instagram, like, hey, hello, girl. Are you okay? And maybe that reminds you that you're capable when imposter syndrome kicks on. So honestly, if you've ever thought, I wish I had people who get it, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Ever wonder what it really takes to build a business and a life that feels like yours? Welcome to That Big CEO Energy. I'm Callie, entrepreneur, operations whiz, and your go-to for the real, raw, and unfiltered side of business and life. Because let's be honest, entrepreneurship isn't just about strategy and success. It's about figuring out who you are in the messy middle, trying new things, well, just because you can, and creating a life that actually fits you. From solo deep dives to candid convos with powerhouse business owners, we're talking all about the highs and the lows and the why did no one warn me about this moments that come while chasing big dreams. So let's get uncomfortable, embrace the chaos, and make it happen. I'm just going to say this out loud. Community isn't a buzzword, it's strategy. Say it again. Community isn't a buzzword, it's strategy. So let's start by naming something out loud. The myth of the solo entrepreneur. Like when we say we're a solopreneur, no, you're not. And if you are, it means you don't have a community. So, right, like we see all these highlight reels online. We see like the woman who shows up in her reel launching something huge with a latte in her hand and the blown out ponytail. And we think, wow, she's got it all going on. She's not doing it alone. She's not doing it alone. Behind every successful woman online, there's often a Slack channel, a group chat, a private membership, other women in business that are cheering her on, where she's brainstorming, crying, editing, strategizing in real time with other women. And if you don't have a community like that, you guys, please reach out to me. Please reach out to me. I want that for you. But when I have something that lights me on fire and I share it even with my clients, like I consider my clients my little community of like, hey, I'm doing this thing. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Or, hey, how is that thing going? They'll say. But when I look back at my own journey from, building Cal & Co to this very podcast, what gave me the nerve to keep going surely wasn't my talent. No. But it was having people around me who believed I could. And every once in a while, I'll get somebody that if I go on dead silent somewhere on a channel, they'll be like, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't be radio silence, because we get in this mode of like building business and we often, kind of isolate ourselves. And that is super, super lonely. But when we have the confidence, it isn't something that you have and then you create with, right? Confidence is built as you create it. And often that's only possible when you're not creating it in a vacuum. So a lot of times what happens is again, we will be feeling super defeated. We will be feeling like nobody gets it. We feel isolation. And that's because we've put ourselves in a vacuum. We haven't reached out to build a community. And a lot of people will say like, oh, I just haven't found my people. And that's true. But like maybe you need to start the group of people that you need. right? So let's talk about like this online space because it's really been like, I don't know. I've had this reflection of Clubhouse over the past few weeks, and it's one of those things that I built my business out of Clubhouse. I did. And I found a super cool community of people that love on me super, super hard. But that was all online, right? Like, I'm just going to share too, like, what working online communities actually do. So, when you are part of an online community, you hold the space. It's not just about the hype, right? Like a good community lets you celebrate the wins and process the flops. And it's not just like emojis and, hey, you got this comments. It's like voice notes, Zoom calls, honest feedback. And I'm sharing this because it makes me reflect back to Clubhouse and like people were showing up in rooms where all you had was your voice. All you had was like the exasperation of someone and you're talking it through. And these are strangers that like live across the pond somewhere sometimes. Right. But you could normalize the scary stuff. You could talk about like your fear of failure, pricing shame, like rejection on a launch. Like it was so much easier when you could hear others say, yeah, me too. And then suddenly what feels like a personal failure became like a shared human moment. And I find myself almost missing that, like almost craving that because you can have so many. I would not know any of the people that I know without having an online community of some sort, right? Like think about Instagram and the people that build their platforms off of there and they call it a community, but they're building their communities, hopefully in a very kind and gentle way so that like you want to show up and when they're sharing something super hard, you can raise your hand and be like, yeah, me too. Me too, friend. And so whether it's like weekly check-ins, co-working sessions, or even just dropping a note that's like, hey, did you finish that email sequence yet? Like these are the moments that like keep you motivated when it dips. And one of the most beautiful things that I've ever experienced is when someone sees me so much more clearly than I see myself. And that happens when someone in the community reflects that power back to you. So, my point here is that if you are not finding a community space that is online, build it. Build it yourself. Build it and they will come. Because I promise you that the same way that you're feeling, there's about 15 other people at the very least that feel the exact same way. And so what's interesting is I see these women online building communities all the time, and they build them to launch and lead. So, first of all, let's talk about like how real women are leveraging community that's not just built in confidence, but they're building actual businesses. Because I know you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. How in the world are they making 10K months? And how in the world are they doing X, Y, and Z when I don't I don't have anybody? I just feel like when I'm posting online, I'm speaking into the void. And it's because they've built a community. They've built a place where people get to the point where it doesn't matter what they're selling, they want it just because that person is selling it. Right? So there's Jess, who launched her first group coaching offer because the other women in her mastermind said, you're doing this for free, charge for it. Like those are the people like I want to rally behind me. And then there's, the other one who never showed her face online. I see this all the time. She never shows her face online until her Discord group challenged her to go live once a week. And now she's booking clients from those videos. Her name's Maria. And then there's you, right? there's you. Because I know if you're listening to this, there's something stirring in you. What do you want to launch and build? But maybe your confidence hasn't caught up with your capability yet. Like, I know for me, that is true. But a community provides a bridge between your ideas and your action. And I want to just strip this episode down. I crave community. And I know that as a woman, you probably do too. It's the community of feeling like they will say, I see you, I'm watching you, and I believe in you. And it's not this toxic positivity thing. It's not that. But what it is raw and honest people coming together and building each other up. And so many times in communities, I have gotten involved in them and I feel super defeated because it's already cliquey. Like, if you have a community, don't be that. Please don't be that. But how in the world do we find or build the right community that's for you? And you might be wondering, okay, like, you've preached enough, but like, where do I actually find my people? So I have found super, super good success in these communities, and I'm going to share them with you. So here's some ways that I'm building and finding the support that I need. One is private memberships or masterminds. They're not just for big name coaches, you guys. There are so many low cost or even free options that offer structured support that you need to find one with live interaction, not just a Facebook group, right? I think about the collective, and I don't want to put any of that on Facebook. I don't need another Facebook group, you guys. I don't need to. But within the membership portal, I'm able to have real conversations that are not put out into the world online, such as Facebook. They're kept like right in our little pod, our little community, that it doesn't feel like you have to filter yourself, if that makes sense. But maybe it's also a group chat or like Voxer pods. You guys, I love Voxer. I do. But maybe it's just DMing like a few women you admire and say like, hey, would you be open to a group chat where we held each other accountable? Like, keep it small. 3 to 5 women can be super magical. And then co-working communities. I love a good co-working session. I love body doubling. There's just something that, like, sometimes, I said this the other day, sometimes I will put myself on Zoom. Nobody's there. Nobody else is there. But something triggers in my brain that, like, I've got to get my stuff done. So whether it's like what we're doing in the collective, where like we're having virtual co-working strategy sessions and like a place to say like, hey, you don't have to Google this alone. Same thing. Like, just getting a small community of people where it's like, hey, do you want to sync up on Friday online and get our stuff done? Great. But some of you are actually already building your community through your audience. Like, if you're doing TikTok or Instagram lives, there's a community of people. Like, you're talking to them every day. But what if you invited them into something deeper? Like, you don't need a massive following. You just need a meaningful one. And I've said this multiple times on my podcast where it's like, I don't need 600,000 followers. I don't need that. I need 600 who are super intentional, and maybe not even 600, 60, right? Like, just like the comparison of what it is. But just a small pot of people. It is totally fine. And it's about having confidence. It's about having confidence in who you are, what you offer, and how you can be helpful and a resource to other people so that they create a community behind you. But what confidence actually looks like, spoiler alert, it's not loud. It doesn't always look like it's shouting from the rooftops or dominating the algorithm. Sometimes it looks like hitting publish even when you're scared. Sometimes it's sending that pitch even if you expect a no. Sometimes it's showing up in a Zoom room when nobody's there, with your face bare, idea half-baked, ready to grow, and putting your feet to the floor. quiet confidence is earned and borrowed. And community is the bank that you borrow it from. So honestly, let's just normalize borrowing belief from each other. Because when we do, there's nothing, we become unstoppable. So I want you to think about how you can get in community. And I know I have had a multitude of conversations with other people that's something that we're really struggling with right now. Is we did a really, really good job when COVID hit of building community. And then we've all gotten back into doing this solopreneur thing and not leveraging each other. And it makes me sad. It makes me sad, you guys. And so I just want to implore you that if you are struggling with community, build one. Build one. And if you build it, they will come. So, question for you. What if you didn't need to be more confident before taking the first leap? What if you took the leap and let your community that comes behind you build the bridge that's underneath of you? If you're craving that kind of space where business isn't lonely, where people see the vision with you, where confidence grows in real time, I'm your girl. I'm your girl. I love connecting with other women in business. It is truly my jam and it lights me on fire. And maybe this podcast episode is just for me, right? It's not just about content. It's literally about connection. And I feel like we've lost a little bit of that. And it's about co-working, body doubling, right? Strategy, but also a sisterhood, a real sisterhood. And you can build that online, but it's where confidence starts showing up before you actually feel ready. So here's to you. You don't have to make any more perfect plans. You just need people. And those people, they're closer than you think. Hey, friend. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If something in this episode clicked for you, I want you to shoot me a DM over on Instagram. The link is in the show notes. Let's chat about how you're making the messy middle work for you. If you loved what you heard, would you mind sharing this episode with a friend who needs to hear it too? And drop a quick review if you don't mind. It helps get the word out, and I appreciate it more than you know. Catch you in the next one.